Yes. Some reason my phone turned off, but whatever. Now, as I was explaining, there's what's known as control, yes, authority, and the law. Now, this was number HR 980, yes, 110th Congress, first session, calendar number 275, right. In the Senate of the United States, July 18th, right, 2007, received, read the first time, read the second time, and placed on the calendar on July 20th of 2007. There's an act, yes, to provide collective bargaining rights for public safety officers, yes, employed by states or the political subdivisions, right? Now, we've heard of these political subdivisions in the subversive activities law. Yeah. And I know that we passed these laws, yes, where they decide to read them. Oh, now, the law has a certain amount of control and authority. See, everything I want to do in my personal life, right, is based upon my want, yes, to not control, to volunteer to be involved in my life. See, I'm really a volunteer of my own life. Yes. I had mentioned that from 7 to 8 a.m. every morning, right, I'd like to spend some time with Marilyn Van Proyn discussing our children. Mhm. And at times I might talk about some of my biological children that she is not the mother of, so as to get her constructive input on how best to work with them. Then there's this idea of strength training. Yes, from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. Yes, where I decide to strength train with the other women in the office that want to volunteer. Yes, to come to work so that they can lift through me using my physical muscles. Oh, and then yesterday I was thinking about making another improvement in my life. Yes, known as flexibility stretching from approximately to 8 to 8:30 or maybe 8:30 to 9 p.m. Now, these different times of the day are important to me, and I want to have a certain amount of control, but it involves the volunteering of those that want to be involved in what I want to do. I don't really like the idea of authority. I don't want to tell somebody what to do. Yes. I want them to volunteer as an employee to do what I want to have done because they receive a compensation to do it. Yes. Now, let's say you had a collective bargaining agreement. You're one of these employed by the states or the political subdivisions, right? And the Act of Public Safety Employer Employee Cooperation Act of 2007. Your job as public safety officers is to cooperate, right, with the employer and do what the law says. Pooh. Now, are prepared to protect life and property, preserve scarce and vital federal resources. Now, when you read this, state and local public safety officers play an essential role in the efforts of the United States, yes, to detect, prevent, and respond to terrorist attacks, and to respond to natural disasters, hazardous materials, and other mass casualty incidents. As the first to arrive on scene, state and local public safety officers must be prepared to protect life and property, preserve scarce and vital federal resources. Now, avoiding substantial and debilitating interference with interstate and foreign commerce, yeah, and to protect national security of the United States. Public safety employer-employee cooperation is essential in meeting these needs and is therefore in the national interest. Now, let's say it's in the national interest, yes, that you decide that you're not in control. The only authority that you have is the law. And you happen to be an employee of any city, county, or state of the United States. Yes. It is your obligation to remove all fraud and forgery from the court system, right, and give me custody of my sons. Now I'm suing you. I'm suing you for violating the obligations of a federal act, yes, that gave you a considerable amount of collective bargaining rights. You said I couldn't right now, but I can. See, It is not in the national interest of the nation. It is not in the best interest of public safety officers, employers, and employees, yes, to decide, well, we're just going to misprison all these felonies. It's not. Now, this law, yes, it has no authority, yes. When you don't do what the law requires, then I'm going to sue to have it removed. Now, I will take it upon myself to pay for, yes, every lawsuit involving public safety officers because you decided that you weren't going to enforce the laws. And we can remove every law that gives you any special privilege, right, or immunity as law enforcement. And when I get done, I can prove in a court of law right now. I will remove every law that affects public safety officers. Now, for the idiots that think they have to control the population, control is not available to any person anywhere in this nation. For those that thought, well, we have the authority to make false arrests, yes, you don't. The law of the United States has to be the authority that governs each and every citizen of this nation. And I now have it available to me, yes, as a citizen of the United States, to have the laws removed. Now, this is something that I've talked about over the last 4 to 5 years. How do I, as a citizen, have a law removed? Yes. When I disagree with what the law says, well, I can prove, yes, that if you don't enforce the law is of no effect. And if it's of no effect, I'm going to sue to have it removed. Now, these laws about civil rights, yes, you as a police department decided that you don't have to enforce the due process rights of myself and my family. I decided as a citizen that I have the authority to have laws removed because of your refusal to enforce the law. And I'm going to go through all state and federal laws, yes, and I'm going to sue for the removal right now of every law that gives any privilege, right, or immunity to any individual in law enforcement. Now, I've informed numerous police departments, yes, sheriff's departments, right, judiciaries, attorneys, that my sons were taken from me without any due process of law. And you decided, well, we just have to be in control. Now the laws are going to be removed, and I'm the citizen that will have them removed. So for all the very important laws that have been passed that gave you some sort of right, when you refuse to enforce the authority of the law gets removed.